A big hello to everyone watching once again. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. You joined me here in Leatherhead, and following on from some suggestions that I got last time, I've gone about and installed the TFL Chew Pack. And we're right here in Leatherhead Station with the Metropolitan A stock on our fictional Metropolitan line save. Some really kind of demonic, creepy passengers, but we ignore those. Mostly because they pay us for the pleasure of ignoring them. Oh, have to get used to the controls again. Been playing a bit too much City Skylines in my free time. But yeah, no. So we're back here in the save. I went about replaced the stock on the Metropolitan line with the A stock. I also replaced these old diesel clag trains with some nice electric ones, faster acceleration, the class 421s, in a kind of grim but somewhat like retro green livery. I mean, it might be worthwhile actually repainting them in VR blue, like this. Which also, if you look inside, you can see the old Network Southeast moquette. Tasty, tasty. Whilst over here in Cirencester Central, we also fixed up our metro system, with the main line over here being quite overloaded. So that'll be another thing to look at, is maybe increasing the frequency of the service between Cirencester and Amersham. But whilst speaking of the main line, it would also be worthwhile to actually expand and extend our main line. Perhaps, probably, expanding down to Warwick. That'll be our next stop through these mountainous hills. With this branch line that goes via Manningtree to Christchurch, we can also expand it down to Leatherhead as well. And then probably continue it up to Chesterfield, which, you know, in real life, geographically, this makes absolutely no sense because Chesterfield is all the way up in the north of England, whilst Chorleywood, well, you know, that is in Hampshire, just off the border of London. These are tiny little details, you know, I'm sure a show can be overlooked. Also, hello, Crazy. Yes, I do. I do have all the TFL stock now. Also, hello to Alex as well in chat. Actually, in saying that, I could always go to Portishead. I've just realised that this is a tiny little town here. It would probably be worthwhile actually serving this. Because Leatherhead is kind of served pretty well now, has decent transport links. However, that would involve needing like an extra train on this branch line, and I don't know if the branch line can justify that. We can always extend down to this place over here, Penistone. No sniggering in chat. Maybe 4 tracks so that intercity services can run on it. Which part are you talking about? Because right now I have basically 3 different modes. I have my main line over here, which is its own dedicated service. Also really closely following behind each other, which isn't great. Then I have, like, I guess, kind of a metro service with this Amersham North, like, Metropolitan line that goes through Amersham. From through Leatherhead, and then this little branch line, which isn't even electrified and uses diesel multiple units. The Power of Clag. I think it's pronounced Pennystone. The main line. Probably. I'm not sure how much it would justify double tracking the main line right at this stage, because I don't feel like it's really at capacity, the line. But maybe that is definitely something that I will look at doing in future. Okay, go over to our 125 mile per hour track, and right off the bat, going to extend down to Portishead. I mean, I think that's how you pronounce that. I've actually never come across this town in the UK. I didn't even realise it existed. Which, you know, is very fitting considering I actually didn't even realise that it was a town in game. Because I was just ignoring it. But now we're going to actually add it to our network. Go to the network southeast stations. 160 meters in length. This will involve extending this branch line. I suppose I can justify it. Barely. And then after here, do we want to terminate this branch line here, or are we looking at like extending it in future as well? I feel like maybe I'll probably send it up to Chesterfield or Holsworthy. Holsworthy. Okay, these aren't real places in the UK. It just sounds made up. I mean, look at this place, Slough. That sounds completely made up. Who'd ever want to live there? Sounds like a heap. Warwick, Somerton. Go back to the network southeast platforms. This is a branch line. Maybe it would be worthwhile bringing it down here than having a spur that goes up to Leatherhead. Maybe. You know, I'm just gonna build the station, and in future I can do whatever I want with this town. And as a matter of fact, it's so small that it probably would be better off if I built an end station and connect it up to the town centre here. It'll be pretty expensive. We're going to bulldoze some buildings, but that's fine. Holsworthy is a town in England with 2,000 people. Thanks for the info. Had no idea. I've never been. I don't even know what part of the country is it in. Is it in the north? Is it in the south? Is it even... Wait, you did say England, so it is in England. That narrows it down a bit. Actually, that is a good question. I'm pretty certain this game pulls names from only English towns. I'm not sure if it also pulls Scottish and Welsh town names. Keep it nice and flat to keep construction costs low. Apart from... Oh look, we've unlocked the Class 150, some sprinters. You know what, that is what we're going to replace our these little diesel clag units with soon. I mean, also look at the state of them. All the paint rusting off, flaking off. I mean, we're not going to replace all of them because that costs quite a lot of money, and, you know, we are British Rail in the 80s, so we're quite broke at the moment. So we'll replace one or two trains. What is the game complaining about now? Suddenly this train's complaining about having no path. This game can be pretty fiddly at times. It's near Exeter and Slough. I'm going to let you into a little secret. The thing I said about Slough was a joke. I do know it exists. I have sadly been through Slough. Do I want to cut through the mountainside like this? Spend 2 million on a branch line building a massive tunnel through here? Or do I want to go around and just make the branch line a bit slower, but it be a bit easier on my bank balance? Where do my priorities lie? You know what? It's a branch line. I can't justify the costs to actually tunnel through a mountain. Eventually, at some point, if this town becomes big enough and is, I don't know, a major market town probably, then we could justify tunneling through. But at the moment, that's not happening. Although it still created a tunnel anyway. Oh well. Okay, you gonna turn around or? Okay, this train's just sitting here, just doing its thing. Well, 36 miles. Okay, to be honest, 36 miles isn't exactly quote-unquote close. But if that's the nearest major, like, population centre to that place, then I guess that kind of narrows down what's part of the country it's in. So I know it's, like, near Devon then, basically. in that area down on the south coast near Exeter. Okay, create a little turn back here, put some signals, not floating ones, actually construct the poles for it too. And then signal up this entire... Oh wait, hold on, I do have water sig. Huh. 500 meters. Go for it. Oh, that is so much easier. I didn't even realize I had that mod installed already. Anyway, in saying that, we go to our branch line. We firstly rename it because it's no longer terminating at Christchurch. It's now going to Portisheads. Sorry, Portisheads. And then from Christchurch, it will continue down to Portisheads. And then come back via Christchurch, the single platform station. Has not much going for it. 7 people actually heading already towards Portishead, which is, I think, a decent start. I'm not too sure. You'd assume so, you kind of hope so. And then whilst we're here, also look at the actual allocation to this branch line. They're in mediocre condition. I mean, we can see that when we actually look at them. So let's start replacing a few of these with sprinters. Should get some Silverlink branding on this. Which ones are the... Okay, so these... The Dash 2s have more power than the Dash 3s. But the Dash 2s, I can't get in Silverlink livery, so I'm probably going to go with the Dash 0s. Again, keep them in Silverlink livery, or maybe actually go for Network Southeast livery, which these never actually wore. Actually, I'm pretty certain these didn't actually wear them in real life, Network Southeast liveries, because I'm pretty certain, even though they are BR era stock, the Sprinters wore, what was it, like Regional Railways livery? Off the top of my head. But it was never Network Southeast stuff. See over here. Actually, you know what? Could be completely wrong in what I'm saying. Probably am. And perfect little sprinters. A lot faster than the old rattly diesel units on the line beforehand. Speaking of, we'll probably also replace this unit over here with a Dash 2. Not a 2-car unit. Get the 3-car unit. Wessex trains. No, because that would be a bit lost if that was over here. Where did I get the 3-car unit from? Were they in Dash 0? So yeah, they were. Okay. Some 3-car ones. I'm gonna play some NIMBY rails. Good luck with that, Crazy. You go do that. Oh, no depot found. Whoops, that's a bit of a problem. I forgot this line isn't actually connected with the rest of our lines anymore. And it's certainly not... Ah, that's why. It's because this depot is no longer connected to anything. Whoops. Connect that up there, connect that to there. So now both lines have actual depots. Clone this vehicle, so now there's one extra vehicle, another sprinter joins the family on this little branch line. It's a bit excessive, already starting off with a 4-car sprinter. Actually, a 3-car sprinter. I mean, every single town in the north would be absolutely over the moon if they got 3-car sprinters off the bat. Because most places in the UK's, well, in the UK in general, and especially during the BR era, would have just gotten maybe a 1-car sprinter, maybe a 2-car sprinter, but certainly wouldn't have gotten a 3-car sprinter off the bat. Well, railways are real, but some stations are missing and routes how I want it to. Yeah, go for it. I mean, that's the reason why you play games. Don't always have to, you know, stick to real life and imitate it completely. I mean, heck, look at this save where somehow we've connected Amersham up with St. Albans. You know, which in real life would be actually quite, well, I was going to say useful, maybe not necessarily useful, but it would be entertaining. Those two places were connected. 30 people waiting at Portishead, which is a great start to this branch line's history. I'm not entirely sure why this has green Brandon. This is like GWR Brandon. But we can just pretend like that's the history of this branch line. It was a GWR branch line in maybe like the 1800s, even though, you know, I just built it now. Ignore that, gloss over that tiny little details. 3 people. Okay, so from Portishead, quite busy. 30 people wanting to come towards Christchurch and Manningtree. However, going towards Portishead, not a soul wants to visit it. That's a shame. Since this is on the river, I will also create a little harbour. Just for good fun. We don't actually deal with ferries too often in this game. Go with a large terminal. Build a new road here to specifically serve that. A town street. Build it over here, then just let the town actually expand it in whatever direction it wants to. But no, in this game, it'll expand it in some stupid direction. I'm rebuilding the NYC subway. I'm only doing it because I want to watch stream. Hey, don't let me stop you. You can always have the stream on in the background whilst you're recreating the NYC subway. And let's be honest, with the NYC subway, you can improve it quite a lot. Because I feel like there's probably large areas of New York that aren't properly served by the subway, and you don't have to deal with the entire bureaucratic nightmare that is like trying to go through Congress and going over budgets. So you go for it. I also have some friends who play NIMBY, and they enjoy recreating the entire National Rail network in the UK. I've actually not played NIMBY myself. That would probably be another good game to get going on stream, maybe. However, would be absolutely terrible at it, because again... Oh, you know what I've just done? I've just created 2 cargo harbours. Well, I mean, there's six of you in chat right now. At least someone could have noticed and said something. This doesn't all lie on my hands. I'm just kidding, it doesn't matter. True, there are a few areas, but I have done my German network for a while yet. Or does it say haven't? Oh, it says haven't. YouTube has decided to add like this weird heart emoji to like, I don't know if you want to spam me with emojis, which please don't, I'd rather you didn't. But that's what that button is for, and it's just blocking half of chat. I literally cannot even read what is being said in chat. Only because I'm using my phone, I don't have a second monitor to read chat. Look, okay, this isn't like a high budget stream. If that's what you came here expecting, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Yeah, it's good, but I never tried multiplayer in it. I've heard multiplayer can be a bit of a faff at times. Apparently there have been times where just like, you know, one person will do something and just wouldn't update on the other person's screen, and then just like the save files will just gradually go out of sync. I think they fixed that since, because that was probably a couple of months ago I've heard this happening, and I haven't heard it happening since. But yeah, no. And they tend to like, they mostly enjoy doing like the large London terminals, like doing all the tracks for London Bridge, doing all the little, you know, weird track connections that, you know, only freight users or maybe like one service a day uses. You know, stuff like between Charing Cross and Blackfriars, that little spur of track that, you know, is mostly just for empty stock movements. Let's get the shipyard in. There we go. And then vehicles. I tend to just go for this ferry because it's the fastest. I mean, okay, yes, I don't have any British ferries mods installed, but, you know, it doesn't... This is just like a tourist line, just trying to encourage people to come visit this little town. That's all it's here for. Oh, that stupid thing, yeah. Yeah, so I have heard a few stories. I mean, obviously, like, on stream, I wouldn't actually do the multiplayer version. I could do, but I probably wouldn't. It would just be a single-player save, and... I don't actually know how NIMBY works. If it's like, is it like City Bus Manager where you start off in a square and then you can expand? Because if it's that, I'm not really certain what network I would probably start with or do. I mean, probably do like Network Southeast. Because, I mean, obviously that is the area I know most. Do all the absolutely pointless spur track stuff. Okay, so this branch line is really overloaded. It's constantly at capacity, in fact. It is at capacity right now, so I'll take these 3-car sprinters and I'll make them into 6-car sprinters. Ideally not with 3 multiple units, but with 2. Go up here to the dash zeros. Get these. Replace it for 10 million. That was probably a bit more than 10 million, but get 6-car sprinter units in, which can just barely fit in the platforms. You know, and this is an era before selective door opening, so had I made the platforms any shorter, you had the risk of like just dropping out onto the trackbed itself, which is unfortunate. No, it's the entire world, building the UK and also like Australia at the same time. Oh, so that's how it works. That's interesting, actually. Yeah, definitely something I will look into getting and probably starting to play soon. Because, yeah, that sounds like fun. Sod it. You know, like, I could build HS1 in the UK, I can do, like, the ICE network in Germany, the TGV network in France, whilst also doing, like, Sydney Metro. Running all those different services all at once. Okay, this bus stop is really overloaded, and this bus is in an absolute state. Look at the state of that. Okay, so I'll replace these. We've unlocked the Olympian. I will probably replace them with the Olympian in Ensign and Ensign Blue. Obviously, these have like nearly double the capacity of the buses that we're replacing them, so we don't necessarily need 4 vehicles on this route at once, but I will still keep them anyway. If you look at this, getting our first Olympian, our actual first UK bus, which has Transport for London sticker on the front over here. London Transport Bus Service, I think you're a bit far from home for that. And the route name being Cirque. Spot on, perfect. In fact, actually, I might change the route number to just be 0, so it's like a circle. What does that look like? 0, sir. Well, that just looks horrendous. I'm going to remove that and pretend like I never said anything. I didn't come up with that. And in the other direction, for the outer circle, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm going to pretend like it's like a competition thing where 2 separate operators are running the route jointly, where one side does like half the frequency, the other operator does the other half. So combined, it's like a 15-minute frequency, but each operator does it half hourly. So we would probably go with first? Yeah, we'll go for first Barbie. Or should we do the first Barbie Fades? The really ancient livery. Go over here to one of these. Oh, look at that. See, this is the type of thing that you just see sitting in the scrapyard, absolutely rotting away at the moment. Oh, that is also true. RIP to Ensigns, because actually this is pretty fitting. Soon enough they are going to fall under the First Empire. But you know what? That has been happening a lot recently. Because you can also say the same to Southdown, who have been bought out by Go-Aheads. They're going to come under the Metrobus umbrella now. You know, all the independents are just going, which is absolutely unfortunate. Except for Southdown, it's pretty good, because Southdown, good operator. Metrobus, also good operator, not going to lose out much. Whereas with Ensign, good operator being bought out by the mess that is First. So I do feel for the people who live in Essex, in Thurrock area, and have to rely on Ensign, because let's be entirely honest, your service is probably going to start going downhill, and prices are probably going to start going up as well. Oh, actually, I should also probably rescind most of that because I do have a few friends who do work for First. And if she sees this video, I think I'll have a few stern words being said at me. Oh! The 6-car pacer doesn't even fit into our station over here. Oh, look at that. It's longer than the mainline trains. That's impressive. Okay, go for electric modules so that even the mainline can use these platforms eventually. It just helps with flexibility. Expand it. Extend it. Apart from the metro platforms, because those don't need to be any longer. I don't suspect the metro is ever going to be longer than maybe like a 4-car shuttle. At most. Okay. Oh, and also speaking of, if we wait for it to turn up, I did replace the metro service with D-Stop. So we have those. Oh, Pacer, yay! Oh, hold on, wait, hold on. Pacers? We unlocked Pacers? Oh, we're gonna slap so many bad boys onto this. Yeah, we have a Pacer! I kind of want to replace one of these sprinters with a Pacer. You know what? Just because these are compatible like this in real life, I'm just going to slap on a 2-car Pacer to this unit. Does that reduce its top speeds? Acceleration? It doesn't actually reduce much. But I think I'll also probably replace a 3-car Sprinter with a 2-car Sprinter instead. Get a Dash 2 in. You know what? Let's also get a First Great Western, the local lines livery. There we go. There we go. How many times have we seen this across the UK? A Sprinter attached to a Pacer. We know which unit is doing all the heavy lifting here. And it's definitely not the one being dragged along at the back. Actually, since those actually do have higher capacity, I'm going to do that for all the other units as well now. I'm just going to replace them. So get local lines, or should we keep it in Network Southeast livery? Decisions. Probably will keep it in Network Southeast livery for now. And then the Pacer units, we're actually going to get in provincial spec. There we go. So these have higher capacity, are shorter, and this shouldn't affect acceleration that much. I mean, unless you have to pace it and leading, in which case, oh dear god, it's just faster to walk. But it's good for First taking over Ensign, as First can sell their old buses, can't they? Yes, that is true. First bus are also taken over. Hang on a minute. Take a look at this D-Stock leaving, sorry. Yes, First Bus are taking over Ensign's fleet sales business as well, which I feel like it's going to start doing a Chartwell, where it's going to be really, really expensive. You know, they're going to start selling darts at like 20 grand. 20-year-old X-Reg darts. Absolutely ripping off other operators, but it will be useful for them because they do have quite a lot of their fleet that is coming up for renewal now, and by renewal I obviously mean like old stock that they're probably going to replace, so they can just do that in-house. So yeah, whilst it is sad to see Ensign go, because I haven't used them, but like the things I have heard about them, they are really, really good. Really good independent operator. I have seen them, obviously, and I have technically used them, I guess, because I have used them on rail replacement in London, but I guess that doesn't necessarily count. But, you know, at least all their buses are well presented. Just a shame that they've replaced their B9s with street decks. That's, you know, pretty miserable. But it's fine. Also, we're having the Amersham and City line over here, which is like the, what's it? The... I have forgotten the station now. It's not Amersham, it's the other one. It's the... What's the other extreme terminus of the Metropolitan line? Chesham, right? Yeah, between Chesham and... Basically the old shuttle that used to run before there were through trains with the S-Stock. Oh man, my memory just fails me at the worst of times. This Metropolitan line train's completely ram solids. And is it going to leave ram solids? Good question, good question. And it isn't. Okay. So, it came in ram solid. Is that because of overcrowding at Leatherheads? No. However, the bus route over here, the 101, needs bigger capacity vehicles. So what we're going to do is replace them with Olympians. And we're going to put them in Midland Reds. Notts Derby. I mean, that's just like a porn star's bus. We can't be saying that on stream. Quadruple X. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna put it in. Midland Red livery. Midland Red South. Midland Fox. Actually, I kind of like the look of that livery more. Since Leatherhead has also expanded quite a bit, we're gonna add a tram service. I feel. Probably like an outer and inner trams, like circle. So whilst we're here, although in saying that, I could make it into like a metro service, but as I said, metro services don't tend to really make any sort of money, unfortunately, so there's no real incentive for me to do that. Okay, so go around, create a little outer circle, so it goes on the fringes of the city. Coming over here. And then serving the front of the station, which will be widened. Okay, so that's that circle. And then I'll create a little bus service that goes through the centre. So get some bus stops. Get the Midland Reds bus stops. Get a stop there, get a stop there, stop here, stop around here, stop here, stop outside the ferry stop. Around here in the industrial area, around in these suburbs, which will hopefully expand, not rendering these stops completely useless, and then have a little shuttle that actually goes through the town centre here. There we go. Create a new line. So this will be the Leatherhead Outer Circle tram service. Maybe call it like the tram link. And then have an inner service over here. There we go. Okay, and now we have to get the tram depot. Yeah. You once built a London to New York route and it was so long I needed 2 trains at least. I mean, like... Okay, I mean, it's all well and nice having, like, you know, the Eurostar, but here you was trying to make, like, the American Star. What is that? Across, like, underneath the Atlantic Ocean? I mean, how long would that even take by train running at probably, like, 300 kilometers per hour? That would still be at least 3-4 hours, or just non-stop traveling. It would certainly beat having to take... Is this a road? Oh, it is a road depot. Whoops. It would certainly beat having to take the plane there. I mean, especially in terms of, like, carbon emissions and whatnot. But, like, damn, that just sounds tiring. See, why can't we just build, like, a massive bridge just go over the Atlantic Ocean? Oh, there's someone speaking in German, I think that is. Could someone else in chat quickly translate that for me? Just run it through Google Translate and just post it in chat what that actually means, because I don't speak German. Okay, so I'll get higher capacity trams, get 4 of these, get them onto the outer circle. Call this from line 6, rename it to the the outer link. And then the line number 7, since we have the 101, this will be the 102. And this will be from School Lane down to St. John's Roads. Leatherhead, School Lane to St. John's Roads. There we go, via the city centre. Gets probably, I'd say, might be worthwhile putting a couple of Olympians on that as well. Put some first Barbie vehicles. Oh, let's go Northumbria. Get 2 Olympians onto that, onto the 102. I want to play some Train Sim, Munich. Wait, I want to play some Train Sim with my Airbus joystick because that's totally realistic. Yeah, I mean that's what they do in the training sims for like train drivers, you know. They put them in an airplane cockpit, teach them all of like the crash procedures, what to do in an event of an emergency, in case a swan runs out into the tracks in front of you. Okay, the 101 is still pretty busy, but should eventually come around here, pick up all passengers. See, look at this livery. Oh, and this is also a, this has a Yellow Pages advert. Oh man, what a sign of the times. Can you tell when this livery is from? I bet you a large majority of the chat doesn't even know what Yellow Pages was. Oh, we also have the Class 91 unlocked, finally, the Intercity 225. Which we are 100% going to get onto our main line. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. These 421s, as nice as they are, don't compare with the Intercity 225. So, these are electric multiple units. Okay, maybe they're not electric multiple units. They are electric locomotives, so we get the Intercity Swallow. We'll get it in 91001. And then passenger carriages. Get the Intercity... Well, I mean, we could get the Pullman set, but that is quite long. We only have 160 meters to work with. So I'll get... I think that should... Oh, that just about goes over, though. That's unfortunate. But we're going to replace this one. Our very first train is going to be replaced with an Intercity 225. Tram, not train. Oh, yeah. Oops, that does say Tram Sim. Yeah, see, I'm so used to just reading Train Sim. Like, that's what my brain defaulted to. Look at this beaut. Just running through the countryside. The Class 90... Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's back. Way. The Intercity 225 in its wonderful Intercity livery, which LNER has done a really, really nice take on this livery, like a modern take on it with their own twist, you know, because obviously they can't brand it Intercity, it has to be LNER, but it's so nice on the 90, well, I think 191 set has that livery. But as I said, it's just absolutely wonderful, and it just works so well with the Class 91. I mean, it's a shame that, like, the coaches themselves are kind of like a off-milk colour. That's not very appealing, but I guess it makes more sense than them being pure white, because let's be honest, pure white will just pick up all the dirt whilst, like, travelling along the tracks, and we'll have to constantly be in for washing. I mean, honestly, whilst you're at it, why don't you try playing Tram Sim with like a Logitech G29 as well? Whilst we're at it, if we're going for realism. Can't wait to be playing Microsoft Flight Simulator with my G29 soon. Its nose just pokes out. Oh, and this is also on the extended section as well. Okay, so this platform, this station is going to be extended again. Some expensive works being carried out here. Quote unquote, to modernize it. It was just because I'm a bit of a numpty and didn't actually realise that this train was too long for the stations it serves. See, the old 41s withering on. I have a Thrustmaster, but my gas pedal broken. You tried playing Euro ETS2 with your joystick before. How did that go? Also, that is such a shame that your your accelerator pedal is broken on your Thrustmaster. So far, I mean, even though some of my cables are a bit frayed, my G29 is in tip-top condition. And, I mean, to be fair, I sort of expect that because it's not that old. I mean, I say that, it is about a year old now. But I did buy it new, it's not like a second-hand one. So, you know, if it was already starting to break now, I would be really concerned. Which is also what I use for my OMSI streams, obviously. Because, you know, once you actually start using the wheel on OMSI and ETS, and, I mean, okay, I do use it on, like, Assetto Corsa as well, and Forza Horizon, those are some other games I play with it. But once you do use the wheel on those, you can just never go back. Just so good. Terrible, and I think I was on Trucker SMP at the same time. Those poor souls on the road that had to put up with you. You're just over there blocking like an entire intersection, like a motorway on ramp, and you're just sadly you have to scream in voice chat, being like, "I'm sorry, it's because I'm trying to use a joystick to drive." But honestly, Truckers SMP is not SMP, but actually it is SMP. Yes, SMP is very, very fun to play. Apart from when you come into Calais, which always just seems to be rammed full of people, no matter what time of day it was. One time I was playing with a friend and it was like 2 in the morning. And keep in mind, France is like an hour ahead of us. I'm here in the UK, so in France and in mainland Europe it would have been 3 in the morning. And like Calais was still gridlocked. I mean, it's good fun to actually be there where there's other people, but I mean, compare that to the UK at the time, which was just basically a barren wasteland. No, it was fine, there was no one near me. Ah, that's good then. I wouldn't have done that, I'll be honest. I would have just taken it. Also, this train is just left completely full, and it's still leaving an entire train full of people there. So, I think what this would call for is... What's the frequency on the Met line? Every 4 minutes. Maybe it does justify 1 extra vehicle. However, instead of doing that, what I'm actually going to do is extend the stock here. So where is the A stock? There's the A stock. I don't want the 4-car version. Get the full 8-car version, which I don't have the funds to replace. This is an unfortunate state of affairs, so I'll manage this vehicle. Since this is the first one to come in, and I'll get the high capacity A stock in. So that it can hoover up all these people. Which are over here, waiting for the Met line. Probably to go up to Leatherheads. This extension to Chorleywood just really isn't working out, but that is somewhat accurate to the real-life Met line. Because, I mean, you know, not very many people go out to those extremities, even though those stations actually aren't that least used. I mean, some of them do feature in like the top 10 least used underground stations, but there are some other ones like, I forgot the name of it on the Piccadilly line. That's like around Ealing Broadway area. Or around the Ealing area, and like you wouldn't think like a station in Zone 4 in London would be in the top 10 least used stations, but it is. I can't actually remember it off the top of my head. And then obviously you have the meme that is Rodent Valley. I haven't actually been myself. I mean, I have been through Rodent Valley, but I've never gotten off. Yeah, Calais fun. Loving Calais. Calais to Duisburg is just fun. I mean, true. It's fun, but like, well, it's chaotic, but also fun at the same time. I think is the best way to put it. To be honest, replace this man with a Wilson Dorset Olympian. Oh, and the entire game pauses there. I was worried it would crash. Oh. Oh. Please mind the gap between the train and platform and board in Enlightened trains. Thank you for that announcement. Oh. No, you've got the wrong line. This is not Thameslink, and this train isn't going to St. Albans City. Also, I'm going to rename this to St. Albans City, so that those announcements actually do make sense. And also, speaking of the devil, here's the Class 91 coming in. I remember I went down there at 68 and someone did a U-turn on it. You know what? Yeah. Actually, to be fair, one of my funniest memories is just like driving in a long convoy of people in Calais, and then you just see in front of you someone's ping off into the stratosphere, and you're just like, what has happened in front of me? And then you come closer and closer to the scene of the accident, and all you see is just a massive collision between like 7 different trucks. And the poor soul that has just like launched up and created like a new NASA mission to Mars. God knows where he's going. He's trying to deliver literally up to Pluto. I'm so fortunate that I didn't actually end up flinging myself up into space. Because I've honestly seen way too many people do that in Truckers SMP. Okay, so seem to be going pretty well. Our main line is making us a decent amount of money. It's making us 16 million. The Metropolitan line's making us 10 million, so that's pretty good. Our little branch head is now also making 5 million with its pacer units. Absolutely fantastic. So, in light of that news, I feel like this will be a perfect time to actually expand our main line down to Warwick. So what we're going to do is probably create a modern-ish station, because we're still in the 90s. We still haven't grasped the entire current like modern. Actually, no. I suppose the 90s is just, especially in 91, it would be just at the cusp of when people are going crazy for steel and glass buildings, such as what you find like on the Jubilee Line extension in London, which, by the way, is an absolute marvel. I don't know if anyone's ever been through like Westminster Station, going down to the Jubilee Line platforms. Even though it's all grey and it's very monotone and really like dull to look at in terms of colours, it's just the architecture of having the escalators go down, the pillars go everywhere, just into this like cavernous station. It's really nice. It's just unfortunate that like the Elizabeth line, it sort of is the same, but also isn't. It's like very samey between every single platform in the central section, which is unfortunate. I mean, you kind of have that on the Jubilee line, but each station is like unique in the way you actually get down onto platform level. And I guess you could say that about the Elizabeth line as well. That is true, but it's very much at platform level they just all look the same. Gonna do some ATS. Okay, good luck with that. I could do some curved stations. Although this is like an island platform. Don't know about that. Advanced modern station. You know what? Yeah, alright. I'll get an advanced modern station. It's the 90s. We're trying new things. Get high speeds. 2 tracks. Make it be 320 meters in length. Since eventually I do want this to take like full-size mainline trains. Get this at a bit of an angle so that I can still serve Somerton afterwards as well. Get our high-speed rail line. What do I have selected right now? The third rail with high-speed track. Okay, that's fine. So I'll get this going over here. This general direction. Then get it going over here. Oh. And it's also levitating. Ignore that. Get it sent over here. Okay, so now, unfortunately, because the city has expanded since I've built the station, I am going to have to bulldoze quite a few houses. And you know, make my way through quite a lot of roads. Hang on, sorry. I mean, it's your fault for living there anyway. I mean, you must have come to expect that, like, eventually the main line would be expanded and your houses would be on the chopping block. Okay, get that. Too much slope. Oh, this game sometimes. Okay, so that it stops whinging about me to me about the mainline connection. That's over there. Is that okay? Apparently, that is too slow for the game. So, okay, fine. I guess what I'll do instead is I'll just since this is a tunnel section, just connect this up with that. There we go. Now it can stop whinging at me. Okay, now get the second line in. Second rail. All the way down. Running alongside. Do it. Oops. All the way down to Warwick. There we go. And then get a little crossing in. Settings one way. No. Get that. Then get that. Has that worked? This has not worked. It has decided not to auto signal this. Has it signaled it in the other direction? No, it has not. Right. Bit of a problem. Okay, get that in that direction. Now that has worked. So that indicates that, like, here it hasn't. Okay, it has only done it in one direction. That is, again, a bit of a problem. Okay, get that going there like that. I'm a bit perplexed right now. Okay, I think... Okay, no, that hasn't... It's also not signaled this properly. Okay, for some reason, I can only do it in one direction. Auto-signaling. Oh, this is a bit of a faff. Okay. Hopefully that works. Anyway, so expand the main line, manage the line. So from St. Albans City, instead of going back down to Amersham South, it will extend up to Warwick before coming back down to St. Albans City. And go into platform 2. Yeah, go into platform 2 on that journey. So now these units extend all the way down to Warwick from St. Albans City. If we manage our units, go over here and maybe replace them with something. Okay, so that costs 200 million to replace it with a HST. I see. I think I'm thinking a bit too bold right now. Maybe just go with a class 166. I mean, can only reach 90 miles per hour, which isn't particularly fast, especially for a main line. But it is faster than the other units can reach. How fast? Also, we have unlocked the 92 stock as well. How fast can the 321s go? The 321s can go 100 miles per hour, which is a lot faster than the 421s can go. So we're going to get some in cross-country or southern. Should we get it in Thameslink? You know what? We'll get it in Thameslink livery. Where is it? Plain Thameslink. Thameslink. Get that. Replace all these units. Sadly, replace our wonderful Class 91. Eventually, the end goal is to replace all these trains with Class 91s, because this is the main line. But for now, we're going to have just bins trundling up and down here. Oh, that also has the modern day logo. I do not want that. I actually want the old logo. So the class 321. Go down to a 8-car old Thameslink logo. That costs way too much. Also, I just realized we have massively reduced the capacity on this line. Yep, because it's gone from 300 capacity per train to down to 150. Unfortunate. Honestly, the 321s are actually pretty good. Well, okay, I say pretty good. They've had their day. They've had their time. I do actually miss the 319s that were on the Thameslink routes up until the 700s took them over. But, I mean, the 700s are pretty good as well. Oh. You just hear the 321 power go. But that is their nickname here in the UK, the 321s are bins. Ignore the floating track. Again, design oversight. And also, we're running a completely empty train down to Warwick. Let's see how many people get on. Also, I don't know why this train has ScotRail maquette in it. Even though it's, you know, on the outside it's Thameslink. Again, massive oversight. What are you waiting for? Oh, there's a train leaving. Probably stealing all our passengers. Okay, so we go into Warwick. Is there anyone waiting here? Oh, you know what? It would also help if I actually connected it up to the road network. Okay, so since this also doesn't have a proper connection to the city centre, we're going to also create a little shuttle bus service that will do a loop around the centre of town, go through the commercial district, so that people who want to use it as like a local service can use it as that as well. Create a new line, going from here up to here, through here, serving the high-rise blocks in the city centre, the old council estates probably. Typical British fashion, probably completely run down. Get a bus garage on the go. Get one there. Get some Olympians. Get them in Yorkshire Rye Delivery. West Yorkshire Transport. I'll get them in West Midlands, actually. Get 2 of these. Get them onto line number 6, which we'll call the Warwick feeder. Go over to manage this line number 6. We'll call it the 61. Oops. Warwick Station feeder. Oops. Why has that embedded it so far into the ground? Don't want to be burying this poor shipyard. Okay, to get the game running, because now it makes a bit more sense as to why no one actually wants to travel to here, because they can't leave the station if they did travel here. And say bon voyage to the bins leaving. Watch as the Olympians actually go around the town centre. On the Warwick Station feeder. Currently have 4 people on board. Now we have 8. Making our way downtown. Serving Manchester Road with 16 people now. Next stop is Main Road in the Industrial Centre. Near the general store, I guess. Park Road. Next up is The Grove, which will probably be renamed to Station. Again, in classic British town style, the bus stop outside the station is literally just called Station, so you have to be local to actually know what station you're at. So there's Station. Very descript. Also, hello Tico and Deutsch. Why so many bus stops? Because in this game, firstly, when the city gets larger, it's just very useful. Also, if you look here, it does have its radius. However, people will prefer to use the stops more if the stops are closer to their destination. So even though here I could have just like probably put one bus stop for this entire area, these people here would have preferred not to use my public transport at all. Okay, actually even now they actually probably wouldn't have. They don't actually use my public transport at all. They just walk. They prefer walking. But for example, these people here, which would have still been in the radius of this stop, they wouldn't have taken public transport to this stop. So they would have just walked to their destination, so taking public transport or just driven. So that's the reason why I do just many stops. Some stops obviously more useful than others, but that's just how I do it with this game, to be honest. Every single, like, quote-unquote block, in American terms, I'll add a stop. Any thoughts of the Olympians? The Olympians, kind of neutral on, to be honest, because I haven't really ridden any, which is a bit of a criminal thing to say, but with that being said, I do think they are pretty mint. Watching videos of them, they sound pretty nice, just not something that I have, you know, any memories of actually in general, to be honest. I was going to say fondest memories, but I think that's the wrong word. It's just I don't really have memories of them, because I was probably extremely young when I was on any Olympians. But, like, as I said, judging by videos of them, seeing, you know, online, they seem pretty good, they seem pretty nice. I am more of a fan of slightly more modern stuff in terms of like early low floor stuff and the very last like entrance to the high floor market, you know, like the Spectra, which also did come in low floor variant, but we ignore that. I feel like those have a bit more character, a bit more oomph. Not to say that the Olympians don't have any character, they do. It's just I feel like the early low floor stuff just has more character in my own personal opinion. The St. Albans Circular is completely ram solid with absolutely horrendously maintained vehicles. So we're going to replace those with Olympians. And in a couple of years' time, we will be able to have ALX 400s instead. Bus stops in the UK just feel like they are 0.1 miles away from each other. Honestly, I would agree with you, but that's only because that is true for a certain select amount of cities. London, Brighton is a good example of it as well, but everywhere else, sadly not. In a larger majority of cities, bus stops are just comedically far away from each other. Like, you'll have one bus stop for, like, you know, the shopping district, and then like maybe like a 5-minute drive until the next stop. An example I have is, like, I was in Folkestone at the in the town centre actually. And to go to the train station, which is only about a 5-minute walk away, there was literally no other stop in between us and the train station. I mean, and like you can say, okay, sure, that sounds pretty reasonable. 5-minute walk. What was that, like a 2-minute drive? But you have to imagine this was like leaving the bus station, going around. You're still passing a few houses in the States. If this was London, there would be at least probably like one other stop in between, maybe two. But yeah, and like other towns, even not even cities, are just worse for it. I think also Manchester might be a good example of one where the bus stop spacing is quite close together. But I haven't actually been up to Manchester in a little bit, so I'm not too certain. That being said, okay, I do desperately need to extend these units from 4-car to like 8-car or 6-car. Because this line, the main line, is absolutely struggling currently. So I think I might... can I upgrade? I can upgrade it to 5-car. That doesn't quite give me the capacity I want, so I'm going to try 6-car with like a generic unit. I can just about afford that. Hold on, 6-car... Okay, so 6-car I can fit. That has 200 capacity, which is more fitting. Because this line does need it, and sadly, delivery is like a fictional one with like it's like a Steam branded one with First Capital Connect like livery. Bit strange, but here we are. If Valve ever wanted to run railways in the UK, this is what the delivery would look like, I guess. the Thameslink core in the city centre. Decided to hop on Transport Fever 2 on my local city building map. Hey, I'm glad you joined us on Transport Fever 2. I haven't actually ever done or tried to do like a just city service in Transport Fever 2. By that I mean just like have in like a sandbox, plonk down the city and then just like grow it until it's like probably maybe need to be like 4,000 population, something like that, and then create like just a little like service to serve just that city. I feel like that would be a fun challenge, but this game doesn't really do that well, sadly. Also, hello DJ. Yeah, it would be fun to do, but yeah, this game doesn't do that kind of simulation that well. Okay, so our main line, sadly, is really badly over capacity. To the point where, if I don't actually expand or get new units, I do feel like I am going to start pushing people away from this network. I mean, I've expanded up to Warwick, and it's doing numbers right now. I mean, this train's carrying 5 people from Warwick. But there is actually 81 waiting for the main line, which is a good start. So this is at capacity. Now there's no one waiting going down to Amersham South, which is a good sign. However, in saying that, we do have 222 people waiting to go to Cirencester Central, which is absolutely unfortunate. But whilst we're down here, I feel like just delete these, since we have expanded that platform for our shuttle service, since the A-Stock can only come in like, I think 6-car and 8-car formations, which didn't fit in the little island platform I created before. I'll take advantage of that and actually expand the platforms for our main line as well. Where are the electrified tracks? There they are, the high-speed EV ones. Get those and then get platforms. Get the NSE era stuff just to keep it in Femin. And also, since the Amersham has started actually also expanding on this side of the station, I will also put a passenger building here. Okay, maybe not, because that doesn't actually fit. But I will put a... where is it? It's in Misk. Some stairs to connect to a side entrance, so that... what's the side entrance? Narrow platform. I mean, this is just like a breeze block on the floor. Complete waste of space, that. Where was the NSE stairs? I can't actually remember. Now I have so many tabs and I cannot remember where anything is. Is it under platforms? No. Oh, it's under passenger buildings. Oh, never mind. That was all for nothing anyway, because it can't even fit here, apparently. Alright, so go back to Misk and get these side entrances. Just so that this side of the city can also use the station instead of having to go all the way around. Okay, now the game's also... oh, yes. Would be ideal if I actually connected up the extended platforms with the main line. I forgot to do that. A bit brain asleep at the moment. Okay, do that. So we have some signaling. Now we have higher capacity, so that's more people can fit onto the platforms. So it's not so overcrowded. And 270 people waiting to go up to St. Albans City. Again, bit of an issue. So I think individually I want to start expanding units. So I would probably make this into an 8-car unit with... where's the old... I want the old Thameslink logo. So that can carry more people, and then the unit behind it, which is in Cirencester Central, 321007, which is what these will be. 321007, since that's train number 7, and this one 321001, 321005. You might be asking why not just do them like from 0 to 4. Look, okay, they say that they're train number 8, so I'm going to keep them in that. I'm going to pretend like the other units have already been scrapped. Manage this vehicle, number 7, replace it. Actually, yes, completely replace it with an 8-car unit with the old Thameslink logo, which they decided to keep for all of about a year before replacing it with their current one, which I do not understand, because I quite like the old logo, and the new logo is very plain, because it's just their name and then a dash. It's just you know, like, what is the point? It's a bit plain, but hey ho, I'm not in their design team, so there we are. And it is also pretty comical how the 319s were repainted into this livery, you know, about 3 months before they were withdrawn. And some of them do still actually run around in this livery in this country, but have other operators' logos obviously plastered over Thameslink, because Thameslink don't operate them anymore. Watching that 321 leave. We have 200 people waiting at Amersham South. Unfortunate. Okay, so how much is it? Okay, so we can get one more train, which has also been called train number 1. Why do you do this to me, game? Okay, so that'll be 321007, and for some reason... Oh, that's because I've put 231, 321005. There we go, so now it's in numerical order. So we have 001, 002, 05, 07, and 08. Whilst we're here, also probably going to do the same for the rest of our fleets. Since this is train number 9, this will be the A9. I mean, granted, that's probably not how the fleet numbering system works in TFL. Oops. I've done A9 for all of them. That's going to be very confusing. This was like the A8s, A10, and this one I'll probably like A11. There we go. So those are in numerical order, make them really easy to actually, you know, find. This will be the A8s, since they're A-stock trains, and these are, well, I mean, these are a mixture between pacers and sprinters, which is unfortunate, because I'm probably going to rename them after the 142. So 142, oops, what was that one? Train 3, 142003. This one over here can be 142002. Train number 4 can be 150. No, these are dash. I can't remember. What are these dash zeros? I think these were dash zeros. So this will be 004. Actually, was that 004? Was that 005? Question scientists can't answer. 150 013. Yep. 150 0013. There we go. So we have our entire fleet now actually in numerical order. So we know what units are running on where. Obviously we have road vehicles, which could bother to replace, but it's just too much effort. This will also be the A6 on the circle. Actually, since that's on the circle line, now that I come to think about it, where is it? This is the circle line. Manage this vehicle. Instead of this being the D stock, what this really should be is actually the C stock. So get a 4-car C stock unit. Get that going there. Wait as the game loads up these assets. And then rename this unit. So it's not an A6, this is now a C1 stock. And there we go. An old C-stock unit, which used to be found actually on the Circle line and the Hammersmith and City lines in London before being replaced by the subsurface stock, the S7 stock. Whereas the A stock, oh, this is on open position. That's no, I don't think it should be on that. Actually, maybe it should be on that. If it's on close, that's probably the brake valve. Whereas the A stock over here on our make-believe Metropolitan line used to be found on the Metropolitan line as well as the East London line, which was a pointless little stub of track which just didn't really serve much, but was quite fun. which then, you know, got converted to the London Overground network in 2007, with one station being, and also on the district line between Edgware Road and Wimbledon. Was the C-Stock used on the district line between there? Oh wow, that's news to me, because I actually didn't know that. That's pretty informative if that's true. I just assumed the district line used entirely D-Stock trains. I did genuinely just assume that's all that was bought for it. So Amersham is just continuing to grow, so much so that maybe it would be worthwhile actually having another bus service. Maybe also starting a proper tram service. It would just be the C-Stocks. Oh, I guess that does make sense, but in some ways it doesn't as well. That's interesting, actually, genuinely. Whilst we're here, since I do kind of want to create a DLR, quote unquote, because I say that I don't think the DLR stock has been unlocked yet. Gonna have to wait a couple more years for that. But what I would love to do is create like a little DLR network between Kidsgrove, Amersham, and Penistone. Since I don't think this will ever be like a really heavily utilized network, and I will probably just use like the existing track. So from here, plonk it, connect it up to here, and then connect it through here. Although in saying that, that kind of, I would want to use this track, but I'd have to then also create a bridge over here so I can go to Penistone. But there are no engineering feats that the British can't overcome, apart from a very select few. Speaking of that, get smaller stations, like on the DLR. Create more modern stations. Actually, no. Make it be overheads in true DLR fashion. Using, like these. That's connected to the network. Yes, due to the platforms between High Street Kens and Edgware Road, from what I heard. On Wikipedia, it says it C-Stock used to operate the Metropolitan line from the 70s to the 90s. I love how there's a primary school in Plumstead with a C77 stock. Actually, to be fair, it is pretty entertaining where like tube stocks do actually end up after their lives on the London Underground. I mean, for example, there are just some abandoned, 83 stocks from the Jubilee line up in Shoreditch, just on a viaduct, just kind of vibing. And then, yeah, obviously you also have a 67 stock from the Victoria line that has just ended up as like a diner car. Where is it off the top of my head? Oh, that is actually a good question. I do not remember where it is, but I do know it's somewhere in London where it's just become a diner car. That's all it's used for now. And then, I mean, obviously, now you have also the D stock, which has been converted for use on other UK mainline operations, you know, namely like the Isle of Wight with the 483 stock. Is that what they're called? The Class 483s? I can't remember what their class are, but I'm pretty certain it's the 483s. But yeah, no, it's just really entertaining where they end up. I mean, also in saying that, it is unfortunate that Viva Rail, you know, the people actually converted the D stock to electric, battery, and diesel operation. Just, you know, they've gone defunct. So now a lot of the operations that were going to use them just aren't. However, in saying that, I think GWR were one that weren't going to use them after they went defunct, but they have now bought the rights back, and like the maintenance team have actually hired some staff from Viva Rail as well. Get some signaling in. Oops. Signal over here. There we go. So that's connected up to the line here. That's connected up there. This I'll keep as single track because it requires money and effort, and we're doing the DLR approach of maximizing potential with the least amount of money possible. Though in saying that, this might require some realignments, because I don't think I'll be able to get this up and over this railway if I connect it from there. Isn't that how the DLR are mostly... Isn't that the DLR is mostly above ground? The DLR is literally all entirely above ground apart from at Bank. Bank is the only underground... No. Sorry, correction. And as someone who used to live in Lewisham, this is embarrassing for me. Also, the Lewisham extension between Cutty Sark and Island Gardens is also underground. But yes, the DLR is largely above ground. Okay, there we go. Get this up and over. Connect up. Get bridge. Get a nice looking bridge. Okay, bridge pillar connect. Collision. Get something that isn't going to absolutely scream at me no matter what I do. There we go. How long have you been playing this map? I've been playing this map for about, I would want to say in total now, well, I've been playing it entirely on stream, so I'd say about 5 hours, 6 hours. It has been some amount of hours. Get this over here. And then back onto the ground. And now we follow the tracks and the landscape down to Penistone. Before, obviously, trying to go underneath a coal mine. And obviously trying to then actually raise up to the platforms up here. This up here and get these viaducts. I always complain about bridge pillar collisions. Okay, I will fix that connection eventually at some point. Maybe TM, probably not. Walthamstow Pump House Museum. Yep, that's true. Also, the 59 stock on the island of Alderney. The oldest stock in service now. That is true as well, actually, yeah. Although that I don't think that's like a proper regular service, though. Isn't that more like a... Isn't that run as sort of like a heritage railway, that one? Because it's not really part of Network Rail, that. But you are right, those do operate. The oldest... and the tunnel to Stratford International are part of it. Oh yes, and that section. I'm going to be entirely honest. That section down to Stratford International is completely pointless. I always forget it exists on the DLR. But yeah, that is you are right. That is another part of the DLR that's underground. Okay, signal this in because the auto signaler mod is just having a day off. It doesn't really want to work right now properly. Connect this up here and then get our turn back here. Going to be a bit of a tight corner because otherwise the game will shout at me. Create a new line between Penistone, serving Amersham North, and then coming down to Kidsgrove before coming back up to Amersham North as well in the opposite direction. Making sure there's no conflicts with the Metropolitan line. Now for this, since this is going to be like, let's name it like could be the ALR, the Amersham Light Railway. Or actually the PLR, the Penistone Light Railway. Since this is, I mean, honestly, if I was going to build it above ground here, I probably should have built this like probably closer to the town centre. Because now I'm going to have to create a bus service for a town with less than 150 people. It's a heritage railway, yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't really count, I guess. Because it's heritage, because, I mean, you could always say... Actually, well, I was going to say you could say... Well, no, because the London Transport Museum does also run like heritage runs of like 38 stock on the actual tube as well, which you could also say is the oldest stock in on the network. But I suppose it's all pedantics, really. It's like how you define what's the oldest, what actually counts, you know. Okay, so fit a new depot in. Get this, connect it up. Over there, buy some new vehicles. For now, since I don't have the DLR stock unlocked, I might keep it to the 92 stock. I think that sounds pretty good. Get 3 of those to run this. 3 of those to run this service. So the 4th one, rename them as 92001. This is 92002, and this is 92003. Get these onto the Penistone Light Railway, which doesn't really make sense because we're using heavy metro stock on it. But this is all just temporary, and now it's complaining about it's not being electrified. Okay, that's a bit strange. Have I forgotten to put some catenary somewhere? It's a good question. So this should be all electrified. Oh, this is not electrified. Wait, hold on, what? How is this not electrified? Hang on a minute. Go to tools, go to electrification. So this is all electrified, apart from, okay, yep. So where the, what's it called? The Amersham City line operates, that wasn't electrified. But we ignore that. This is all part and parcel of using existing railway infrastructure for new projects. This is also waiting for a free path. That's interesting. Why isn't it just, I don't know, going? Signal here. Okay. Right, so remove this. Probably put this in over here so it can go a bit closer. I think that should hopefully fix all future conflicts. I mean, realistically, I should probably also just expand this double track section to be a bit longer. There's a DLR B07 stock if you don't have it yet. I do have that stock. It's just that it obviously unlocks in the year 2007. That's why I'm saying I don't actually have the DLR stock unlocked yet. So in Warwick, our station feeder service is doing very well. We're going to double the frequency because there's 80 people waiting here, more than that's actually waiting at the station, which is always a worrying sign because that means a lot of people want to go to the station but can't actually make it. 100 people actually coming to Warwick. Pretty good, pretty good. At Chorleywood, we have 80 people waiting for the Met. Leatherhead has 155 people waiting. Down in Leatherhead on the 101, this stop here is also just always overloaded. So one more extra vehicle onto the 101. Down onto our little ferry service. This is just losing money. Why did I even start the service? Sell off some vehicles. Keep the frequency at every 3 minutes. It's at every 97 seconds. That's still a bit much. Okay, so one ship. One ship is enough to keep this at... It's not at a 3-minute frequency. Okay, leave this at every 120 seconds, so about every 2 minutes. At Christchurch, our branch line service is doing pretty well. At Portishead, it's doing extremely well. The branch line doing pretty good in general. And then we can just look at Kidsgrove, see if we get many people who want to take our light railway service, but for some reason this is just waiting there for a free path. I am very concerned and confused actually as to what it's or where it's trying to go. So what I want to do instead is create also a little spur. That's obviously going to be way too much curvature, but it's okay if I do this. Okay, the game is not very consistent in what it considers too much curvature, but that doesn't matter. Okay, this has also gone off in that direction. I see, so it decides to go on the wrong... in the wrong direction. Oh, this is going to end in disaster. Why has it done this? All that's going to happen is you're going to end up just having a collision with the A stock. The only plus side is the fact that this is actually faster than the A stock, but still. Okay, so instead of doing that, I'm going to remove that to force these trains to come out onto the correct sides. So a double lip there, maybe that would have helped. So has this arrived? Ah, yep, and exactly what I predicted would happen is happening. Here's a head-on collision between an A stock and a 92 stock. Let's create a little lip. A little crossover. Which this A stock has just decided to completely overshoot. Thank you for that. Please go a bit further. There we go. Would you like to... No. This just refuses. Okay, you know what? We're just going to send it in the other direction. Whilst we see this 92 stock, 92001. We're actually in the driver's seat. Do you have a high-speed line? Yes and no. This being the UK, our high-speed line is limited to 125 miles per hour, but I can't afford the stock to go that fast, so right now it's 100 miles per hour. Technically, it's not really high speed, but I will introduce a high-speed line eventually between Welwyn Garden City and probably, I'd want to say, Warwick via Amersham. So I might eventually start. I'll actually probably start getting that built in the next episode. So we're seeing a 92 stock next to an A stock. That's very true as well, because in real life that just never happens. Although to be fair, what's even weirder is the idea of seeing like the 92 stock on the Ongo branch of the Central Line before that closed, because that closed in '94, which is 2 years after the 92 stock was introduced. But that section of the tube was still being ran with the 52 stock, I'd want to say, because I don't think it was 38 stock that was running. Maybe it was like 60. It was 60 something. 59 stock. That's what was running on the Central Line before the 92 stock. But it would have been weird seeing that at like Epping, a 92 stock next to like 59 stock. A 73 stock or a 96 stock would be a bit more normal. That's true as well, yeah. Although actually, in saying that, actually the 96 stock not really. Well, yeah, no, not really, because there aren't many points where you would see a 92 stock next to a 96 stock, whereas a 92 stock being next to a 73 stock even is a bit more normal, because you do see that at Ealing Broadway. And you can see over here, this is just a 92 stock waiting here for this single line branch section. And actually, speaking of 73 stocks, since you have mentioned it, I probably am going to replace this. The Amersham and City line with a 73 stock unit. Or maybe I can replace it with a 96 stock. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do that for the fun of it. There we go. A 90... Oh god, it's absolutely bugged. Look, okay, I'm sure it'll look normal when it actually leaves. Also, put a signal in here. Put a signal in here. And another signal in here. What are we waiting for? Waiting for that train to actually arrive in there. And even though it's not realistic, I think as a stopgap measure, I might... 62 stocks on the Central, I think you might be right. I can't remember off the top of my head what the stock was on the Central before we got 92 stocks. But 62 does sound about right, I'd say. Absolutely fit in. Oh, why are they kind of T-posing on us? With 96 stock sounds as well. I mean, the model leaves a bit more to be desired, because it's not super accurate. But hey, we can overlook that. And as a stopgap measure, as I was saying, I'm probably going to replace the A stock with 96 stock, which obviously it didn't happen in real life, but the S stock doesn't... We don't get access to that until 2012, or actually 2010 in this game. And these are starting to fall on hard times. It would be ideal maybe to get more capacity, so we'll replace them with 96 stock trains. And as a final hurrah, before the end of this stream, I will take this 96 stock all the way up to via Leatherhead to Chorley Woods. That's where this terminates. Okay, granted, it also doesn't really sound like a 96 stock, because it doesn't have, you know, the nice motors. We can overlook that, right? I like the one-track part in Amersham. Yes, that's called a cost-saving measure. And also, I literally only built that as a for a shuttle between the North Station and the South Station, and then decided, you know what, I might as well just utilise that again. And obviously sections like this, which are pretty, like this section here is pretty straight, it has nice high speeds, probably should replace this with actual a mainline service, but it doesn't matter, these are tiny little details. Yeah, we are approaching into Leatherheads with 248 people on board. Let's see how many people disembark here. We have 13 people waiting to go up to Chorley Woods. And we have quite a lot of people getting off. Over 100 people have gotten off. Basically about 180 people got off there. On one of my maps I have C-Stock. C-Stock's running next to the 92. That is absolutely cursed, sir. I never want to hear of that again. And now for the short sprint up to Chorley Woods. What have we unlocked? 219 vehicles available. Oh, well, we've also unlocked the Super Pointer Dart and the ALX 400s, which is fantastic. Those are absolutely some vehicles that we will get around to replacing in the next episode. Oh, and also, actually, and speaking of that, we have also unlocked the Electrostars. The class 377s and 375s. That'll be fun to get on the network as well. However, with that being said, I will leave this part here. I'd like to thank everyone who's made it this far, who's watched this far. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, because I do videos like this every single week. Transport Fever 2, City Skylines, OMSI 2, and a few others. Possibly in the future, might start doing some NIMBY rails. I upload those videos at least, well, I say upload, I stream those videos at least once every single week, so make sure you subscribe with notifications on to catch those. But I do thank everyone for making it this far, and I thank everyone in chat, all 9 of you. It's absolutely fantastic to see people actually, you know, stick around for so long and enjoying the series. Because honestly, this would have just been me just playing on my own if I wasn't streaming this anyway. But with that being said, that's the end of this stream, the end of this part.